Happy Monday, everybody. Good to see everybody. Give a big wave, big smile. Let's get this thing started for this Monday, this week. I've been talking with Coach Myra this week, and we got a lot to come at you this week with words and hopefully inspire and make us think a little bit. And so I see Coach joining us right now from Rocky Top, Tennessee. So our word today, I'm going to jump right into it. Our word today is culture. And I got a chance while I was in sunny Florida to really dive into this a little bit and think about it. And I first want to say this about culture. You know, you can think about culture in a lot of different ways, you know, diversity and a lot of different ways. But I want to think about culture as an organization or organizational culture, okay? And I want you to think about you. You know, each one of you has a circle of influence, an organization, people you come in contact with at work, in your family, like in your community. What kind of culture in the organization are we creating? That's kind of the way I want you to think about it on my part today. See, culture does not change because we desire to change it. Sometimes when I was a coach, I'd come into an organization, a team, and I realized the culture was not what I wanted for the future. But just because I didn't want it didn't mean it was just going to automatically change because I stepped into it. So culture does not change because we desire to change it. Culture changes when the organization is transformed. And it takes time for a transformation to happen. And sometimes the people that start the transformation don't always finish. They don't always finish the race to see the organization transformed. Okay? The culture reflects the realities of people working together every day. It takes commitment. It takes time. It takes molding to transform a culture of an organization. And I love this that I wrote this down. The greatest danger in times of turbulence. Now think about this now. How many of you, raise your hand if you've come into an organization before and you knew that the culture needed to be changed? I know I have, in business and in growing teams in coaching. So I call it turbulence. You know, I come in a time of turbulence. The greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence. It is to act with yesterday's logic. I have been a part of teams before. I've been a part of groups that said, well, this is just the way it's always been done. How many of you have heard that before? Oh my goodness. You're talking about a hot button. Woo, I'll get hot quick. This is just the way it's always been done around here. The greatest danger in a time of turbulence is not the turbulence. It is to act with yesterday's logic. That's what that represents for me. So here we go. I about got on a soapbox. So I've observed organizations that create and sustain winning cultures. And here's what they tend to implement. I'm going to go through them real quick. Number one, performance. Like they're willing to look at their culture and audit it, like evaluate themselves and set new expectations. So for each one of us, do we evaluate ourselves? Like do we look at our performance and are we willing to take a culture audit? Because successful organizations do that. Number two, they communicate and they collaborate with each other. Communicate and collaborate with each other. Number three, they align the team. They understand everyone has a role and they get involvement from everyone to create a positive winning culture. Number four, they build accountability within the organization. We've all got each other's backs, right? Number five, they focus on results and how to improve the results. And when I mean that, they have a process, they work the process, they stay focused on the process, but they're not scared to look at the results and say, where do I need to improve so my results that I want to happen will improve? Those are characteristics of a positive winning culture that I've observed in coaching, in business, and just wanted to share those thoughts with you this morning. So, Coach, I'm going to turn it to you.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Sorry I had to come in on two wheels a little bit late this morning, but, I was going to make it anyway, regardless. Now, really quickly, everybody just start getting prepared because I'm fixing to open this up and ask an opinion from a couple of people. I want to know, when I ask you guys, what does the word culture mean to you? What does the word culture mean to you? And very briefly, I want to ask Dwight and Susan and Bill. So Dwight, if we can unmute Dwight, when you hear the word culture, buddy, what do you think of? Got it?
Okay.
There you go.
Well, you really got me off guard. I really don't know what it really means to me, and I'm just being honest.
Okay. All right. Well, what about the sailings? Y'all got something for me?
Well, for me, well, that is kind of tough to put in words, but it's kind of, if you're talking about a team or a group, it's kind of the energy, the aura that's emitted from that team, their group, whether it's positive, whether it's welcoming, whether it's energetic, that kind of thing. That's kind of what it means to me.
Okay. Well, I'm going to kind of talk about two aspects. I'm going to talk about a bad culture mindset and a good culture mindset. So just stay with me. I'm going to move really quickly. In a bad culture mindset, here's what I have found out in different places that I've worked throughout my career. It's a dressed up value system. They sound cool, but rarely do they reflect who they are when trying to communicate. And I'm gonna give you an example of that. Let's say you're working in a business, whether it's a team, a business, whatever it is, and somebody decides in that organization, one or two people, this is what we're gonna do as far as creating culture. And they put up a sign and put it throughout the facility, and it's automatically expected for everybody to buy into that. That's what I mean by it's a dressed up value system. A bad culture mindset tries to create a desired painting of what we really want it to be. But honestly, it's really diluted, because if you don't have a buy-in with it, it doesn't matter what you have on your walls or the stickers or whatever, or your hashtags, it doesn't matter. So, why do we consider this mindset? Why do we even consider it? Because culture is very complex. Culture is not easy to decode, but you know what? We should constantly look for ways to decode. We should never, ever stop decoding. Culture is messy. It's very messy. The great thing about the mess is that it's telling us what we're trying to clean up so that we know who we are. Basically, a bad mindset, guess what? It is based upon fear. Sometimes that bad mindset is. So in a good culture mindset, it understands that culture has many, many different parts, but they interconnect. They have different parts, but they interconnect. Culture is not static, which, it's not lacking in movement, action, or change. Culture has differences within. You have to accept that. Culture has differences within. So how do we get to a good culture mindset? First and foremost, we've all got to understand that there is complexity. I don't care how you look about it. It's not a kumbaya environment. It's not all rainbows and beautiful unicorns. It is very complex. And the key to this complexity to make it work is leadership. Our leadership is the key. Corporations are going to live and die by their connection to the culture. As a leader, we have to be able to read the culture of the group. We have to be able to understand what is not being said. And how do you do that? As a leader, we sit back and we observe. You don't bull in there and try to create something just because you think that's what needs to be done. We observe. We watch people that say very little and watch what they do. Listen to them. I'm going to end today with 2 quotes. One is from Robert Allen, and it says, "Cultural differences should not separate us from each other, but rather cultural diversity brings a collective strength that can benefit all of humanity." That's pretty powerful. And lastly today, John Abbott says, "Every man's ability may be strengthened or increased by the culture they are in." Think that's powerful, y'all. If we want better results, if we want better positivity, we have to strengthen our culture in order to want people to be a part of the success and the positive culture. That's all I got, guys. Love y'all. Thank you so much for joining us Monday, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Coach, thanks so much. And I got to add this at the end. One of the things that I see has followed you through your career that I just want to touch on, and it's one reason I partnered with you, a while back, was culture is the backbone of whatever we do in our organization. It starts with the culture, and I've watched you do that. And it creates, if you create that culture, it creates a happy team. Culture matters. And it starts with how you treat people. It impacts everything for better or for worse. And I watch how you treat people, and it's just, it's something that I highly value. So thank you for all you do.
Well,
Guys,
you're sweet. Thank you.
have a great Monday. Let's go out and rock this week. Make somebody's day better, because we just was a shining light for them, okay? We'll see you back here tomorrow. Love you guys. Grateful for you.